Hello everyone on the internet, and thanks for tuning in.
And welcome to another episode with me, Master Bushido, and my Toku Bro on the other side of it. It's Flayvaman!
Mega Urudo! And while he's getting over that, we will be doing our Toku Talk. And this is where we are talking about the current news of Toku, the current episodes that have gone out, well, when I have actually caught up, and also the series we have been watching.
You mean, so basically we're going to be talking about the Toku news from past, present and future, and on top of that, those that we have seen to date.
Yay!
So, where would you like to kick off besides the Scarness?
I think the fact that I have just made my Necrom reference, which I'm just going to go absolutely fanboy.
Right, for those...
We are going to go on Ghost.
Right, so just before that, so for those that are interested, normally I would go through what the hell was it Flayvaman has just marred in my head, but in this circumstance it was the transformation to Necrom slight wording to it. Honestly, I thought he would have said Hono kakse! But anyway, I'm not going to go into that, but anyway.
Yeah, this is from the guy who used the word transform instead of henshin.
You don't know where it's from, so I'm not going to say.
No.
Anyway, go on. Right, Ghost!
So, Necrom. I know we have been watching episodes 16 and 17. I just can't remember what... Right, I remember something about Necrom, duh.
Last time we talked about Necrom got the grim side.
No, he didn't.
Thing. Well,
no,
anyway.
He's got that now.
He's got it now, but my point is that the last thing we saw, spoiler alert to the viewers at home, is Spectre is now wearing Necrom arms.
Right, that's only happened in the last 2 weeks. Right, so we need to work out what's happened in
in between that.
Right, yeah, just before that, because there was an episode before.
Right,
we see the Necrom debut, which again I will talk about that in depth in just a moment. So but let's see, story-wise. Because we do see, again, I think I'm just going to sort of mash all this up.
Okay, so form-wise, from my end, I'll just quickly go with the new forms that Ghost has got, and that being this fortune teller thing, weird girl.
The woman! Yeah, that was one of the episodes. He gets a pink form, yeah.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Fumiko.
Yeah.
Honestly, I couldn't. It felt like the wife. The way that the fighting style was felt like the wife of Beethoven kind of thing. It's like you just.
Oh, let me think. I think that was actually I think that was episode 17 you're talking about, because the one before that would have been when we do see Necrom in full form, and that's when he did take over Spectre. We've got to get this in the right order. We're such a Mickey Mouse operation.
Either way,
right.
So while you're thinking of the order, for me, I thought this weird Fumiko Arms thing was very intro. I just hope it was a one-off. Honestly, I honestly couldn't give two craps about it. To be honest, it was very.
Right, I know where we're going with this. So now that I'm organised in my head, right. So now. Because you spent the whole time not wanting to know Necrom's identity, now that you do know Necrom's identity, what do you think?
I'm not surprised, honestly.
You're not? Because this is it. Because you were so adamant to not know. It's like, to be fair, I didn't get time to guess. I just kind of knew from the off.
Well, on one hand, I'm glad that it is who it is, but I would have preferred if it was the other person, or one of two other
chopper guy,
or the brother.
That's it. I mean, I was really confused that he's just, he's got this sort of really similar looking form to Geki Chopper guy. What, I can't remember his name for the life of me. But because if anything, it would have been a bit more. There'd have been a bit more substance to the story if the Necrom Tamashi had been derived from Geki Chopper Guy in some way, shape, or form.
You mean if you spin that sentence
Because
the
it
other way?
does
No, no.
look
If you
very
spin,
similar. The
yeah, I know. If
shape
you
of the
spin that the
helmet
other way
looks similar.
round, though, if you spin it the other way round, though, it would make more sense if Geki
Geki
Choppers,
Chopper.
we might as well just call it, had the Necrom as an upgrade.
Meh. Actually, I agree with that. But the fact that they're unconnected, I'm not entirely sure. Did Geki Chopper get defeated, or was he still knocking about? 'Cause
He's
I'm not
knocking
even sure.
about. That sounds wrong, but he is still
Right,
knocking.
but at
What's
the end
more?
of the
Okay,
day,
spoiler alert. Spoiler
it
alert for the
makes a lot. It
one
makes a lot of
No,
sense.
not just
Yeah,
that though. Here's the weird thing, and spoiler alert. So the identity to Necrom is Alan, and also we understand that through Alan's elderly brother that Alan stole the belt.
and
Or
now
actually, it's
he's
not a
kind
belt.
of letting him carrying on because
So
he thinks
it's
it'll
not a
be.
belt. It's a bracelet.
I
Fine.
do not like the
I do
bracelet.
not.
It is yuck.
It
You
is
know, they could
so.
have come up with a million better ideas.
I mean,
They
okay.
could have like had an
One
eye bracelet
one
with
thing I
like a
will say.
droplet bracelet or something. Just anything.
One thing I will say is it's nice to see a bracelet for once in a blue moon. I'm not going to deny that.
No, bracelets are quite common. Drive had a bracelet.
But he had a belt as well.
Yeah, but that was overkill. You know, he had both.
No, no, no. But at least it worked.
Oh.
Whereas this one, this is like a chunkiest bracelet ever.
Oh.
Like, I'm just trying to think who.
But you see, I will be honest. That is my own mean because I don't like the bracelet. I feel mixed about the outfit,
Same.
but I actually just love the presence of Necrom. I mean, you know, his henshin is awesome. He's got like kick-ass power, and you know the fact that he needs to absorb a henchman, and then he runs out of juice. That is genius.
It almost
But
feels
the
like.
one thing, and I know I tend to talk about this a lot more than you, the background music to Necrom is insane.
I will give you that. Like
That-
the
that
henshin
takes-
music. The henshin
No,
music.
not just the henshin, not just the BGM to the henshin, the BGM to his fight scenes.
Really?
Insane.
I haven't
It's-
noticed that, but alright.
See, I mean, I talk about again, like I said, I tend to talk about music a lot more than you for obvious reasons. But Necrom, it just blows away any other Rider BGM, any other BGM. You know, at the end of the day, I've talked in the past about Blade. I've talked in the past about, like mainly Sentai will do like very character specific BGM, but Necrom, OMG, the background music of this, I need to get hold of it ASAP. I mean, he's only just got, his episodes have only just aired. They need to do a character album or just include his music on the soundtrack or something. It's insane. I mean, it's, because I think when it comes to Kamen Rider, you can talk about Rider chips, you can talk about like the odd particular Sentai. I mean, like even Kamen Rider Wizard, or you could talk about OP, like, oh, for example, Wizard had an amazing OP, Guy might have been a bit weird. I mean, I think opinion of the OP for Ghost is a bit mixed, like it's a bit divided, but just Necrom BGM, I'm sure there's people that don't like that genre of music, but I do. In hardcore style, it's just amazing.
For those that are interested, can you, in like one worded genre, how would you classify Necrom's BGM?
Oh, this is very like, it's very sort of dubstep.
Oh.
No, not heavy metal. Dubstep, like heavy hardcore driven. It's for those who use old style genre, it's very like heavy, like happy hardcore techno. It's insane.
So early 90s techno dubstep.
No. You're talking like present day. It's insane.
Alright.
It's insane BGM. Again, if you didn't notice it, you must have been asleep or something. But it was very noticeable to me, and I loved it.
I mean, otherwise, I agree in regards to the outfit that I couldn't give two craps about the outfit. For me,
I felt mixed.
Right.
I said I felt
better
mixed,
way to word it for me, and I'm sure we still had this discussion that I think Necrom is a a worse form of Saiga.
Did I? I don't remember talking
Well,
about. I
anyway,
mean, maybe, but
I
no,
still
no.
think I
I
still
like.
think it's a lesser form to Saiga,
This
an
is it. Like I
undergrade.
didn't know. Like I felt very near about the image reveals, but seeing him in action, I feel a little warmer towards him. But I still feel generally mixed because it's quite a busy outfit. I mean,
No,
bearing
see,
in mind
this
we'll be
is the
talking
thing.
about Kuuga in a bit, which is
This
very simplistic.
this is the
This
thing,
is
though.
like the extreme opposite.
It is actually.
It's a
I'll give
very
you.
complex, busy outfit.
Hmm.
You know, you've got, you know, it's very PVC meets plastic meets metal meets heavy chunky meets whatever the hell's going on that helmet with big massive magnifying glass or
Well, not just that, but
some.
also you got an eye drop as a bracelet as well. Need not
Yeah,
forget.
no,
So,
that's it. I don't like the bracelet anyway. We've already established that.
hmm. But
That bracelet.
no, honestly, I
And
think
again, the bracelet's very plasticky. You know, I think because this isn't a new concept in Toku that they use the toy on the show. I'm pretty sure they've just literally strapped the DX bracelet onto him.
I wouldn't be surprised. But what's more, here's the thing: you've also got his main color, and normally I don't talk about the other actual color outfit, but I have to mention this with reason. In that you've got the inner layer, if you will, is white, and then on top of that you got predominant black with dark neon green, which I love. I love the color scheme of Necrom. However, and this is where it gets bizarre, when he uses the Grim armament slash outfit, whatever you want to call it, he then loses the green, or some of the black as well. So it's predominantly white and black, and I'm like, alright, so I'm still seeing Saiga. I'm still seeing references to Saiga, because
Okay,
Saiga is
I
pretty much
kind of
just...
get.
Because Saiga is just pure white with some purple. And I'm like, really? Really? So, anywho, it's just... Necrom to me is like, depends on the form, depends, you know, either way or the other, and kind of thing. Now, this is where I actually don't mind. Spectre Necrom form is interesting. I thought it's
I
busy.
don't
It's
think
busy.
I mean,
It's
it's
busy.
not bad, but it just looks very. I mean, because the thing about because normally, in my opinion, Ghost is very like hoodie, like pretty much all of them need to look really hoodie-ish, if that's even a term. Whereas Spectre is more flamboyancy. So you look at Tutankhamun form. You look at Tutankhamun Damashi. You look at even the Houdini Damashi. It's insane. What's that about?
And the Nobunaga,
But
don't forget.
but this, Spectre wearing Necrom Tamashi, it's hoodie. It's very hoodie. He's big ass hood. Yeah, it's like normally that's Ghost thing, and he's normally the flamboyant thing. I mean, whereas I don't know, it doesn't look right. Just based on the fact that he's got a massive hood, which is normally Ghost's thing, and because obviously the Spectre Damashi itself is also hoodie based, but it doesn't feel it's not predominant to the look compared to when Ghost does Newton or the other one Edison or his own Ore Damashi. It just kind of feels a bit out of place. It feels too hoodie focused.
For Spectre, fair enough.
Yeah, for Spectre, in my opinion. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, we'll see, nonetheless.
And then coming to like the following episode, which was not fortune teller. She was what's it called?
Future
They
Reader.
call it future bird. Like Little Miss, I can see into the future. Yeah, the actress that played the possessed woman, she was actually really pretty. I'm not gonna lie.
Anyway, I honestly love the jokiness that Ghost gets a pink armor.
There's that, and then it's the fact that I don't know what the hell they were doing with that science girl in that they tried to make her a fighter, but then she gets knocked the hell out anyway. And then were they trying to do Jack the Ripper or Sweeney?
Yes,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think they were
Jack the
trying to.
Ripper. They're trying to
No, it
bring
was
Jack the
like
Ripper.
they were mixing. No, to me, it felt like they were mixing up. They were mixing up Jack the Ripper with that barbershop one.
Oh, Edward Scissorhand.
No, not.
No, Sweeney Todd. Sorry, Sweeney Todd.
Is it Sweeney Todd? Yeah. Yeah, it just kind of felt like they were mixing those two up together.
Here's the thing
Nah.
with Edward. Sorry, with let me try that
Sweeney
again.
Todd.
With Sweeney Todd / Jack the Ripper, when they keep on saying Jack the Ripper, I was in my. In
They
the back
didn't
of my,
call him Jack the Ripper, they just called him Ripper, if I remember correctly.
No,
Yeah.
Jack the Ripper. Anyway, I was slightly hoping that Ghost would get a sort of Jack the Ripper form kind of thing. That would have been immense if you got something like that.
It would have. Well, I don't know. I think it'd have been a bit too gruesome for a kids show, even if it is Kamen Rider.
Oh, what?
That
Just
would-
no, honestly, just give him.
Bearing in mind, Jack the Ripper. You know, even though I know people have criticised how, the type of people they've picked to give Damashis to Ghost, but Jack the Ripper would be a very sinister Damashi.
You know, technically, you could easily use the two-ended blades, right? The double-ended blades, and then puts the Cobra Ketai on the end with a scythe mode, and then make a, big-ass scythe.
I guess.
Done. Anyway,
No.
so
what? So have we finished talking about the current episodes of Ghost?
yeah, I mean, in regards to story-wise, I'm still waiting for. I
The
mean, there's
break.
something going on with Newton, which looks interesting in that.
No,
because
the last two episodes had the Robin Hood form
No.
doing the little chatty thing.
Right, so Takeru goes actually into the Robin Hood icon again. Oh, sorry, not again.
No,
goes
'cause it
into
was
goes
the
into the
Musashi
Robin
before.
Hood.
Now then he went to Robin Hood.
the
yeah.
Robin Hood one, and has a chinwag with Robin Hood form. And now there is with Fumiko in the latest episode involved. Newton does a runner, which I find interesting.
That's a bit bizarre. I want to know what's going on there.
So finally, there is actually something interesting going on, even if this Fumiko form is maybe a one-off. Maybe we'll see. Who knows? But at least it kind of seems to be connecting to the current storyline as well, or at least it gives some context, if you will, to the other Damashis that Newton did a runner. I am interested as to why the hell did he do it, and I hope that the writers give a good reason as to why Newton did a runner. Not just because, oh, I need some fresh air, oh no, she was my, just something interesting, something that actually makes sense.
I don't know. It'll be interesting either way, even if it's an anti-climax, but whatever. So let's talk about what we know of upcoming eps. Have you seen what Grateful Damashi looks like?
A what?
Oh, basically he gets another power-up. Our guy goes.
The grapefruit. Right, no, hang on a minute.
It-
I've seen the grapeful. I thought you
Yeah,
said
Grateful
grapefruit.
Damashi.
I thought you said
No, I didn't say
grapefruit.
grapefruit. This isn't Gaim. Did they have a grapefruit form?
No, thankfully.
Right.
Anyway, right, so in regards to the forms, I'll quickly lead on with this one. I've heard that Gaim gets the grateful
Form,
form,
yeah, I already
which kind
mentioned
of
that.
looks
Have you,
like...
Have you seen it?
Yes, it looks like Gaim's...
Looks like someone vomited paint on him. in
No,
my
it
opinion.
looks like Gaim's the Bushido-like one, which I can't remember for the life of me. The one when he used the DJ...
Kachidoki?
Yeah, the Kachidoki arms. Too much colour, basically. That
No, I
would
wouldn't compare it to Kachidoki, but it just feels like,
No, but the
I
horns
don't know,
remind me.
they've given it a lot of sharp edges and like someone's vomited paint on him.
Now, this is one I'm interested in. Spectre is also going to get a new form. We don't know
Deep
if it's an upgrade.
Spectre.
The Deep form. The
Yeah,
name
Deep
alone
Spectre.
makes me sound interested that it's actually called Deep form. So I'm interested
That's
in
deep,
that.
man.
Yeah, that thing. Now, this is where I'm really interested, both in both positive and negative forms. We actually know the name of Ghost's ultimate form as well.
What? It's not grateful to Bushido.
No. Infinite Icon.
No, I haven't seen this.
It's revealed that the actual ultimate form, whatever you want to call it, is called Infinite. Or Infinite Icon.
Right, so they've basically ripped off Wizard.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. And no, it's not nice one bit. I honestly, the first time I heard this is Infinite form, and I was like, freaking hell, seriously? Come up with something a bit more clever than...
I think, to be honest, I think when you look at Drive, last year's Kamen Rider, it had some like interesting villains. I'm kind of feeling a bit, again, Alan's quite an interesting character. The other geek glasses dude disappeared when he had all 15 icons, lol. But I'm just not feeling that sort of gripped by the villains in this year. I mean, again, I kind of think Ghost is alright, but it's very orientated around the hero this time around, which isn't a good thing. I mean, it's ironic that I feel that Sentai, they orientate around the hero, but they give the villain story a very good kick, whereas I'm not feeling that from Ghost.
Which is not a good thing by one means, yeah, agreed. Right, so that's...
Moving on.
After you.
Bima!
After you, definitely.
I have been really getting into Bima. I mean, again, I did restart watching it, but that wasn't for any story-related reason.
Slow down for 2 seconds for those that don't know. Bima is...
Bima is the Indonesian tokusatsu series that has, as far as I know, it started in 2013. It finished last year, and it seems to be on an indefinite hiatus this year. And alright, so storyline wise, it's basically about a boy, a guy, a mechanic man, a man who's
Which is it? A man, a boy, a mechanic?
Man, he's an adult. He's like, I think he's in his mid-20s roughly. It's about a guy, it's about a mechanic in his mid-20s who gets given the red power stone in order to defeat the Voodoo Kingdom, which is ruled by a guy called Rasputin, who's delegated the objective of taking over the Earth to his commander, Iron Mask. And I'm really, because the last time I spoke about this in depth, I was worried that it was going to fall into a very sort of bland Sentai-ish Monster of the Week format.
And?
But no. I mean, they still use the Monster of the Week format, but I feel they do a lot more with the story than even Kamen Rider. And that's quite a strong statement to make, because I will say this, like they will give their Monster of the Week a 2-parter.
Oh, good.
Their Monsters of the Week that I've seen so far, they are basically possessing people to become the monsters, which I think's not... it's a bit Den-O-ish, but it's still okay.
It sounds cross between Den-O and Fies.
I wouldn't disagree with that, but I'm going to say it has a lot more bite to it, because...
No pun intended in possession, I hope.
Lol. But, I will say that, one thing you hear me criticising Sentai a lot about is when they have their Monsters of the Week and it's silly villains doing silly shit. Hurricane always comes to my mind when I first say this.
See, here's the thing. Hang on, I'm gonna stop you for a minute with the... I'm going to stop you for a minute, because when it comes to 2-part Monsters of the Week thing, right, I think the best one that still stays in my mind in regards to monsters actually having story is Kiba. Because they always somehow have the monsters tie in with either Wataru or his father. There's
No,
always
that's it. It's both. It's not one or the other. It's
it's
both.
both. Yeah, but there's a connection.
They
There's always a
they will do
connection with the
that because
monster.
the way
Well,
Kiba
not
does
always.
it, the way Kiba does it is they have the monster in 1986,
Yeah,
but he's not defeated in 1986.
it's partly.
He's defeated in
No,
2008.
no. But
But
there was a.
they will still play both storylines side by side.
Yeah.
So you can only feel. I mean, the thing about Kiba is you feel that, oh, isn't it a coincidence that they're fighting the monsters in exactly the same order, just 20 years apart? Right, now coming back to Bima, which is what I'm trying to talk about, is their monsters. Again, they're using people to be possessed. So in one episode, it's Bima's brother. So like where I've got the names down now, basically Bima is played by a guy. Well, the character's called Ray. He has a brother called Randy and a sister called Rena. And so, like in one episode, you do see Randy get possessed, and that makes for interesting storytelling. And one thing that I will repeat from previous episodes is you really do see Ray struggling with the responsibility of Bima and being like a reluctant hero. Like obviously, like especially where Marvel's blowing up lately, you get all these anti-hero storylines or comedic storylines or comedic heroes or whatever. This guy is a reluctant hero, and it's not because of an ego like Deadpool or something. It's basically he's reluctant because he's worried. He's worried that he's not competent enough. He's worried about his family. There's a very human element. There's a very massive human element to Bima that none of the other Tokus I've seen have. I mean, I'm sure maybe if I think hard enough, I can pull out a human element from a Toei Toku or something.
Well, don't want to strain yourself now on that.
But that's funny. No, but I'm going to say that with Bima, there is a lot of human elements. So again, I've already talked about mundane conversation. I've already talked about how the extras scream their heads off for like 5 minutes. It's insane. But when it's come to the fact that like Iron Mask has really settled in, the sort of the way they look to take over the Earth isn't conventional. Get a monster of the week, have him do something to like make the public and then the heroes come in to save the day. It's not like that. That's kind of how Toei are a bit formulaic. With Bima, it's interesting because they will, like they'll set up a story with someone, like a random like civilian, and then they'll get Iron Mask to possess a human somehow, and then I think again you might feel, I mean I like this because it's somewhat political, but they will get the monster to affect the Indonesian economy. And two examples I can give, because these are like probably the ones I've watched like quite intensely, is there was one episode where they basically had the monster of the week steal the country's gold reserves, and that made for a very interesting two-parter.
I'm sorry, start again.
I said, like, right, so this particular story, you had Iron Mask. It was, again, this is the one where he possesses Randy. He turns Randy into like a spider monster. And then he had him break into the Bank of Indonesia. He had them like shut down their online services and then stole that bank's gold reserves.
So almost doing a
So
fire
they were
sale.
trying to bring down Indonesia economically. It's
So
insane.
literally a fire sale.
I don't know what that means, but I mean, like, again.
Okay.
So it's basically
pretty-
it was Rasputin's plan that he brings down the economy so it'd make it easier for him to take over. So again, for me personally, it made very interesting viewing because the one before that, I think, he had like the frog monster, some other guy he possessed, to take over the country's media. So like he was like looking to propagate the fact that he was like the best leader in the multi-dimensional universe or something. And then I think the most recent one I watched, and this one was a bit far fetched, if I'm honest. He basically had a monster of the week take over a harbour so they couldn't distribute rice, so the country was going through a food shortage. Now, alright, again, that was a bit far fetched because obviously rice isn't the only food source, but it was it was portraying a concept. It was portraying a concept, and that's what I really appreciate. I'm like, all right, you can, even though rice isn't the only food source, and then it kind of showed how like the civilians went a bit nuts, and like it kind of exposed a very selfish element to the human mentality. Whereas, and again, and I think Bima really comes out into his own, where even though there were all these people acting in their own self-interest, he was still there trying to fight the monster, trying to get the harbour back. And then people saw this and they're like, oh my god, we're so selfish. We're thinking about ourselves and feeding our faces and that. When this guy's trying to save the day and trying to save the country, it's insane. Again, there's such a strong human element in Bima. I'm so passionate about this series. I mean, it's not perfect. There are, I do notice a couple of plot holes in the story. But even then, I'm kind of like, all right, I don't know if they're going to cover it later or if it's a genuine plot hole that they overlooked. Because, the one thing that I've noticed, again, I don't know if there's going to be an answer to this, but you see Iron Mask arrive on planet Earth 21 years ago, but then it's 21 years later, present day 2013, that you see Ray as an adult transforming into Bima. So it's a massive question as to what Iron Mask was doing during those 21 years. But even if that's an oversight, you do see that basically, I'm not that far into series one at the moment, but it's kind of like, you've got, because it's sort of like, it felt like a big loophole, but they seem to be covering it bit by bit. But basically, at first, it's established that Rena, Ray, and Randy live with their uncle. But as far as I can make out, Randy and Rena are actual brother and sister, and Ray's father, and Randy and Rena's father were actually two scientists that were collaborating. But then it's established that Ray has a brother called Reza, who's like, because you see in the very first episode that Ray's parents and younger brother get killed by Iron Mask. So you kind of then see Randy digging around trying to be like, what happened to my father? It's established that their fathers work together. I think, I'm not entirely sure which uncle was the brother of the two scientists. And then they've kind of started off this bit of a bizarre love story where even though the three kids grew up together, Rena's kind of crushing on Ray at the moment, but Ray's neglecting her because he's always trying to save the day as Bima. And that's really sad because I think Rena's quite hot. But anyway, I'm like, again, I'm really appreciating the human element. You see a lot of mundane conversation, but it just adds a bit more realism to say what a Toku is. And that's my review for Bima for the time being. Because I can see you nodding off. Anyway.
Well, the coffee kind of helped. So
much re-engaging. Anyway, I will go on to talking about Kuuga, even though someone's only on episode 2.
Right, let me start with that then, because you say that. Alright, so Kamen Rider Kuuga. I have tried to give this a crack. I'm on the second episode, and unfortunately I found it very bland, if you will. It's very samey. There's nothing to keep me interested. Even within the second episode, I am really trying to find something to keep me interested in. Now, granted, I did not know anything about Kuuga until I saw Decade. So Decade kind of sports all the forms, parts of what Kuuga was as well. So on one hand, I was kind of looking forward to Kuuga actually sing it in its original style. However, it's I'm really trying to find a foothold of interest, but I can't seem to find one, which is unfortunate.
Right, so let me start with me. Firstly, I spotted right off that it's got a very Showa era feel to it. So I
It
was like,
does.
okay, it's kind of weird because where I've been watching it backwards, I've been able to connect the series together. Now, the fact that I've left Agito till after Kuuga this time around, it kind of feels like where you had Ryuki and then I went to Kuuga, it must have been a massive leap from Kuuga. You know, even though it's only 3 years, you've got a massive leap from Kuuga to Ryuki.
It does feel like.
Now, at the end of the day, it's got a very Showa era style feel. Now, you've got to remember, this was the first Kamen Rider series for over 12 years. So you've got that to bear in mind. I'm also thinking that the very last. Now, you've got to remember, the creator of Kamen Rider was a guy called, if I get this pronunciation correct, Ishinomori.
Go on.
Now, at the end of the day, he had a very specific style of writing. He had a very sort of dark, sort of very sort of
Gritty.
you know, very gritty, yeah, gritty and edgy. Now, the very last Ishinomori adaptation was Hibiki. You've got to remember this. And yet, you know, where I've gone in reverse order from Deno, it's basically I felt this felt very much like Hibiki, and I have instantly made this association that these riders are both Ishinomori riders, and that's why they have this particular style. Now the thing is, I actually feel that these are very linear. You know, that Kuuga is very linear. Now I'm somewhat ahead of Bushido on this. That again, I'm just around about episode 10, I think. But I've got another 40 to go. So yeah, I am finding it slow as well. I'm finding it very linear compared to Neo Heisei, which is very busy. But I'm loving the fact that I'm watching the very beginning of Heisei Rider.
A classic, basically.
No, not necessarily a classic, because you know Ryuki can be defined as today's classic now, because you watch Ryuki, it's still, you know, today's Rider still has a lot of Ryuki themes, whereas, you know, Hibiki seems to have had a lot of Kuuga themes, but, you know, there's barely anything that today's Neo Heisei Riders has in common with Kuuga. And, you know, I am appreciating that there is, and, you know, and I think where I was talking about realism just now with Bima, there is, and again, because you're only on episode 2, you're not going to appreciate this just yet, or that's if you ever do. But you know, where I am on episode 10, I am feeling a much more human element again. I'm sort of appreciating the interaction, and you know, sort of like, because you got the guy who plays Kuuga. You know what? I can't remember anyone's name in this. And then you've got Science Girl or Research Girl, and then you've got the police officer.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm kind of thinking, oh, you know, the police officer's actually quite, you know, he's got quite a substantial character. And, you know, when it comes to the two, when it comes to the two female roles, yeah, because you've got Science Girl. Can you still hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Right, where you've got...
Unfortunately.
Yeah, you're funny. Where you've got, where you've got like the research girl, you've then got this teacher that Kuuga knows. It's quite insane. But, you know, I kind of think they both do some real decent fan service, if I do say so myself. What are you doing?
Mocha shake.
Right, so again, you've got this human element, and then randomly, and you're not up to this yet, but just wait until you see the research assistant. Right, that's all I'm saying about that. Until you actually start watching more than episode 2.
So what was I supposed to do? Watch it and then think of you, basically?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it. All the more reason not to.
But I am liking, you know, there's a very mysterious element to the Grongi storyline, and I love how it's all deciphered, and you
See,
know the way they bring about how the ancient civilizations on the rise. It does have some interesting elements,
see,
but
the
I
Gronki
think
is ruined.
you
It's ruined for me. I'm going to interrupt you there. By the
because of Decade.
No, 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 not just that, but also the fact that what's it? It's like all that jibber jabber that they keep on going, constant,
I think it's
absolutely.
interesting. I
It is
think
interesting. It's interesting in moderation, but when they go on and the monster goes on and
because bearing in
on,
mind, Gaim had a bit of that as well going on
true, but
with the
then they
index.
were
Yeah,
able to translate it though because
vaguely.
within Henshin though, wasn't it? No.
I don't know. Somehow, like TV Nihon did manage to translate bits, but meh. No, it wasn't TV Nihon. It was like JE Fusion was coming out with all these revelations of the translation. I'm
I
like,
have no idea.
and even then, it'd be like mundane jibber jabber anyway. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll see you next time. But all right. I think I don't know if anyone's actually translated the Grongi language, but I kind of think because you've got two support female in on the research on Kuuga's side, and then you've got the main villain who's actually a female, and then there's like out of her little gang, there's another like hot female going on there. That is proper fan service right there.
Anywho,
So, all right, I'm going to conclude in that I do feel that I can, unlike Hibiki, that took me a year.
so you
I
can
don't think,
tolerate this one.
I think I can. I think it's still, unlike Hibiki, where again, because I came from Deno, Kiba, because I watched it in the order of Deno, Kiba, Kabuto, and then I went to Hibiki. So Hibiki being my fourth rider, I just couldn't stand it. So where I've now watched a few more, and I've also taken like a 2-year break from watching Retro Kamen Rider, I've now gone into Kuuga. It's still, again, maybe I am stalling a little bit. The fact that I'm stalling on around episode, because I stalled on like episode 6 for quite a while, and then I got up to episode 10 the other day. You seem to have stalled after 2 episodes, which I think is really bad. Put some effort in, boy. But I do say persevere as well, because we are supposed to be reviewing it in about 3-4 months' time. Bearing in mind we've got to do a Gito before that as well. So persevere, just push it, watch it in speed of 1.5 or something. But I'll watch it at normal speed because I can act this. It's all right. It's not as edgy as anything past Ryuki.
Have you
But
seen?
I appreciate because you're only on episode 2.
Have you seen any of his other forms?
Yeah, he's on to. I mean, by episode 10, he's on his 3rd, looking for his 4th form.
So he's got his Pegasus.
No.
Yes.
No.
The green one.
Wait a minute. I don't know the names of them, so I don't even know why I'm trying to talk.
Okay,
I don't
which
know what
colours?
they're called. Red, blue, and green, and he's looking for his purple.
Right, that makes more sense.
Right. Yeah. So, wait, I remember the blue one's called Azure Dragon.
Yeah,
but
dragon
I don't
form.
know.
And then
Yeah,
the green
but-
one's Pegasus, though.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, because he's. Oh, that doesn't make sense. Because that's the long bow dude, crossbow dude, and then the purple one's sword for some reason. Anyway, but to cap it off, I do think I can persevere. It's not that bad. It's not as edgy as any. So like once Heisei gets rolling, it becomes really busy and complex. Whereas this is quite a simple Ickle series. It's a good starting point. Bearing in mind, how. Even though a lot of people have been criticising Neo Heisei, which is fair. When you think of the second half of Heisei, which is pretty darn good, the first half you can really see it's teething. So even though I do really like Ryuki, even though I really do like Blade, it's Kabuto, Deno, Kiba, that really stand out in the first phase one of Heisei?
Well, just to finish on that one by saying that bearing in mind I started with Kiba and then I literally just made my way up, just Kiba onwards. So that shows how I started really. But that's
Okay,
yeah.
so
Right.
moving on.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna throw in an intermission by saying that right in April, which is a couple of months from now, there is our first in Australia, the first of three major comic book conventions. That being this one called Supernova. Now, the reason I'm mentioning about conventions is because one of the guests that's going to be at the Melbourne Supernova is someone called Ika Deville, or Deville. In other
Oh
words,
yeah,
he is the person that played the Red Ranger from RPM.
was it RPM or SPD? No, it was
RPM.
RPM. Yeah.
How is it? Anyway, on Tops, he also played a recurring semi-main character in Jessica Jones as well. So I am interested in if I can meet this guy. I wouldn't mind seeing the yeah.
And how many episodes of RPM have you seen? Brilliant. See, again, I've mentioned on the show before, I have seen the first half of RPM. It's really good. I have got the whole series. I've just not watched the second half yet, but it's a lot better than Go On Ja. And, and again, I do know that actually, again, Red Ranger and Yellow Ranger have all both gone on to do, like, other things quite sort of high profile. So, good for them. And, talking of convention news, two bits our end. Austin St. John is back on the convention circuit again.
Your convention wagon.
No, he's he's doing a convention in America fairly soon. This is rubbish because I can't remember where it was.
But doesn't
Austin
he do
St. John's,
Wizard Con?
No, that's
no, JDA.
Yeah. And then in London, this is a bit bad because I'm now promoting my former employers here. But LFCC, who I did used to do conventions for, LFCC are doing a Power Rangers Turbo reunion later this year.
So, what does LFCC stand for?
London Film and Comic Con.
Cool. So that's yeah. I'm so jealous that I'm going to be missing that. I am so jealous.
Well, I don't know. The only convention I actually go to as established is MCM. I don't go. Yeah, I used to work for showmasters that do LFCC and Collectomania. I've been to a couple of others, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old and past it. But yeah, I only do MCM now.
Is that why the lack of hair? Oh, I'm kidding.
You really like digging at my hair. It's bear in mind we have the same hairstyle. It's insane.
Anyway.
So moving on, bear in mind you were the one that tried talking about Power Rangers. I'm now going to go on and talk about Dino Supercharged.
Oh no.
No, come on. You fake this interest in Power Rangers, and then when I actually talk about it, you're like, Right. So I will say Dino Supercharged. I'm pretty sure they have literally abandoned most Sentai footage. In that, I think the only Sentai footage they use is the mecha scenes, like for their Zords. I think they've got the new main villain who was briefly introduced right towards the end of season 1, or regular Dino Charge. In that they're playing on the names Jekyll and Hyde, and it's called Heckle and Snide. But basically, and I'll be honest, this is really hacking me off. What they've done for the Snide character, so the evil side of this particular character, is they've taken the main villain from Abaranger, or is it Abaranger or just Dino Thunder? No, he does appear he is in Abaranger and he's in Dino Thunder. The guy who's got like a spiral on his head with a diamond in the middle.
Is
he
it one
makes an
of the
appearance.
commanders?
Yeah, and you know
Is he
he
the one? Is he the one that paints or the one that is on the music?
no. He's neither of those. Because if you've, but this is it.
Because
You've not seen Go Busters versus Kyoryuger, have you?
no.
Because in Go Busters versus Kyoryuger, he makes a reappearance as a supervillain. But basically, what they've done in Dino Supercharge, and it's a clear nod to Dino Thunder, they've basically made Snide basically a rip-off of the Aberanger slash Dino Thunder commander. And, you know, he's a bit nuts. They've basically made the Heckle character, or the Jekyll character, like in a human form, which we saw him in, in the previous season. And he's now really sort of like befriending and flirting with the purple Dino Ranger, or Kuru Violet, if you will. He's got a job with them, but they don't know he's evil. And and they do. And again, I've watched episodes 1 and 2, so I am up to date on Dino Charge.
Good
Bearing
question.
in mind, when this goes out, the third episode will be going out as well. So I've watched. So talking about the first 2 episodes again. Yeah, all right. You got a question?
No, I was going to ask. Maybe this would be answered better after your first 2 episodes of watching. But is this basically like Dino Charge 2.0 rather than where it should be? Well, because
I don't know.
because it's not Tokuga.
No, this right. I'll talk. Right, at the end of the day, there's going to be no PR adaptation of Tokuja, but
Until
what it is, no, they're not doing.
no,
they're
I
not
know,
doing
but
Tokuja at all.
the thing is we already know this. That the next one is Samurai Steel.
No, I told you last time. It's Ninja Steel.
Ninja Steel, sorry, not Samurai.
Right, but anyway, shows you pay attention.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I'm not talking about that right now. Basically, when it comes to Supercharge, they're just, again, even in the first 2 episodes, you see them recycling the main one of the commanders from Dino Thunder. You then see them recycling a villain. You see them recycling about 3 or 4 villains from last year. I don't know what, and then you can complain about the lack of originality in villains. Hero-wise, we know to expect Carnival, we know to expect Aqua Ranger, we know to expect, I think they're going with the name Silver Ranger. As far as we know, they're actually bringing Torin and Mad Torin into the series at some point. But the thing that gives this series its new title, Dino Supercharge, is they have a Super Dino Drive mode, which, as far as we can make out, is only usable inside the mecha. It's a bloody waste.
Explain that one.
Basically, when they're in the mecha, they get like the Dino batteries. They get like a charged up version of the battery. They insert it, and then they just get bigger spikes all up. The Dino.
But they can already do that though.
Basically, they were they started doing this in Samurai, where when they're in the mecha, they get like a slightly sort of henched up form. But now they're even more hench, and they've got like these really, it's a real sharp, these really sharp spikes just appear on them.
Almost like Aberanger.
More than that, it's again, it's really hard to describe, but this is it, and you have to be somewhat observant to notice that there's a difference, because in regular Kyoryuger and what they did in Dino Charge, they just get a power up going down one arm.
One arm, yeah.
Right, so basically it's that across their whole body in real silver. And again, they can only do this in the mecha. It's insane. I mean, because a few people have already said, a few people, a few people who are like very pro this, who actually agree with this, they say, oh, really, they should be able to use that form outside the mecha. I mean, it'd be a little better, but I still think it's a waste.
See, when you say that it's just for the mech, not only do I see,
Inside the
yeah, I just find that it's a smeging waste because it doesn't change the appearance to the mech
But this is the
anyways.
thing, no, it doesn't change the appearance of the mech. It doesn't even change the way they fight. I think they just, again, I think Saban's being a bit of a cheap shit, really.
You know what this
They
is, right?
kind of
It's
add
just
sound. They
it's
kind of
just
add more
merchandise.
sound effects. Yeah, they've just added like more sound effects, so it sounds like the mecha's hitting harder. It's rubbish. But storyline wise, yeah, I think it's a waste. I mean, they're doing this Jekyll and Hyde rip-off. They're recycling monsters from last year. I think the only good thing, I mean, goodness knows what they're going to do with Aqua and Silver Ranger. Obviously we're expecting whatever they're going to call Carnival Mode. I can't remember if they've given
Has
it a
Cyan
different name.
appeared?
Probably, huh?
Has Cyan appeared?
That's who I'm referring to when I say Aqua Ranger. So no.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, because there was rumours a while back saying that Aqua Ranger is going to be female, but I think those rumours have been debunked rather. But still no idea on who Silver Ranger could possibly be. I mean, again, we know Torin and Mad Torin are going to appear. I think in the first 2 episodes I saw someone that resembled Chaos, but I can't really verify that. Nor has anyone commented on that as far as I
What
can
about
see.
Grey?
Oh, Grey's already established as the Graphite Ranger, and he is basically Kyoryu Gold, the master of Kyoryu Gold's, the descendant of Kyoryu Gold's master. So, like, you got the Gold Ranger already there. And, like, the Gold Ranger was from the medieval period of Zyuohger or something. And then his master's descendant is this random guy who's from that same place. And
Has he
he's
made an
just
appearance?
super posh. Yeah, he's been in a few times already. He appears in either episode 1 or 2. Episode 2, I think. So, yeah, they've already established Grey as Graphite Ranger. So I think that's all for Dino Supercharge for the time being. And technically, I think you can talk more, but I told you, no spoilers, please, for
Right. Okay, so
Sentai Zyuohger.
right.
Now, I will say from the bat, right, as of this recording, where we do these on a Thursday, my Thursday night, is basically they only released, TV Nihon only released Zyuohger 1 subbed, like, less than 2 hours ago, about 2-3 hours ago, but less than 3 hours ago, 2-3 hours ago. So I've not seen it. Now, my boy over here decided to watch it a few days ago via Overtime, which I've only watched Overtimes. I've only ever watched one episode of an Overtime sub, and I didn't like it. So maybe
no. I didn't watch it for the subs because I understand Japanese. That's why I just watched it in general.
But you watched it, but then again, they release it raw like everywhere else anyway. Really early, like within 24 hours of it.
Well, it's the first one I can find anyway, so.
Meh.
Right. Now you really make this challenging when you say, no spoilers.
But don't worry, next Toku Talk we will do like a double, like episode 1 and 2 and possibly 3. But
right.
Again, it's only because I didn't even
say
bother for Overtime, let alone the fact that. Because, alright, before you, just literally for a moment, TV Nihon, they seem to, even because they always take their time on the very first episode of any given series, so I understood that anyway. I had this bad feeling I was going to miss it anyway. But they seem to release this massive batch, so next Toku Talk, we will talk about 1 and 2 in depth. They have released the Drive movie, they've released Drive Special type Lupin, and there was something else, Kamen Rider SD. I don't know what that is, but I will talk about that.
Special Drive. No, sorry. Surprise Drive. That's the.
No, that's a song.
No,
but this is a TV Nihon release. It's an episode or film of some description. Bearing in mind they've been subbing a few of the old films lately, like they recently released Kamen Rider J,
Yeah, I saw
which
that.
which I don't know, I may watch. I don't know. I've got to see what order I'm
And then
watching.
they also released wait, what was it? Ichigo as well?
No, no.
Oh, right. Anyway, um, right. Just to try and elaborate, or to round off my first impression of a Zyuohger is, it is interesting. And that is probably the best way I can interpret it. I will say I like the intro.
I know what the intro sounds like.
I know that
It's a bit Gower Ranger in my
No,
opinion.
see, I actually thought more Ginga Man.
Ginga Man.
Because it has that really good upbeat, whereas with Power Rangers, it's more dark and gritty with the Lion Howard guy going, go!
No, you've got. I can understand what you mean, but I'm talking like, do they necessarily need to list the animals in the song?
I see.
Bear in mind they're gonna have more animals.
See, this is where I didn't think you'd conflict, but I actually don't mind it.
Ugh.
Yeah. Anyway, I also think you would like the ending as usual, because
This is it. All I know about the ending, I don't know what it sounds like. All I know is that it's choreographed. No, this is it. Do not tell me your
I'm
opinion
not.
of dance because you don't. Because in general I know you don't like dances.
No.
I know you don't like it anyway.
No.
So I'm just assume you don't like it. I'm gonna
No.
watch it after
Yeah.
we recorded this. Before I go to bed, I'm gonna watch the TV Nihon release.
Anyway, besides that, now really making me fucking struggle now.
All right, I'll let you talk. Just don't give spoilers. When you finish talking, you can sign off the episode. So go for it.
What?
Carry on.
Oh, no, I was going to say that. What's it? As a whole, I'm actually interested. As a whole, in general, I find Zyuohger is a very, or one of the few episodes as a pilot that I actually am intrigued to see where it goes.
Right, okay, so unless you got anything else to hint at episode 1.
Yeah, what's more, there are interesting nods to previous 39 seasons.
Bearing in mind it's the 40th
40th
Sentai, even though very recently everyone's talking about Ninja Captor.
What?
That's basically the Sentai that everyone's forgotten.
Anyway, and then you've also got, so there are nods. There are not quite in your face.
Episode?
Yeah, there's nods. There's a few slight.
You know what? Using the term nod, we are in 2016, and the term is
Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm aware.
Then again, there have been people that have been using that term for at least 10 years now. So.
Anyway, so that aside, what I will say is I've never seen an episode that's actually this interesting in quite a while. I'm not going to say any more because I know someone on the other side of the earth has not seen it whatsoever. So
Right, okay, so unless you've got any more to say?
without ruining it for you, no.
Right, fine, because what it is, and I think we won't go the spoiler route, so no names, but for those who have seen the reveals, we know about the Sixth Ranger.
Yes.
And this is where we'll end this episode. The Sixth
I thought we already mentioned that.
No, you haven't.
No, in the previous Toku Talk.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
Basically, Sixth Ranger is absolutely insane. They must have got the they must have gone off the Go-Kaija vibe or some shit.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I'm feeling quite negative. For those who tend to watch me will know I tend to keep an open mind, but I'll be honest, I'm feeling a little negative about this Sixth Ranger for once. I'm feeling a little negative. You
So,
know, like I'm seeing some of the looks is alright, then the rest of the looks is bad.
right.
So
So here's the thing.
I
Right.
really feel, I think it's a, it sounds good on paper, the concept, but I'm just not buying it from the reveals. I
Right.
think they're going to have
So
to really pull it out
for
their arse. Bearing in mind, I was very open-minded about Star Ninja, and everyone else was panning him before his first appearance. But yet, so I think they're doing this. I don't know. They seem to be doing this thing now where we know what the Sick Ranger looks like before the series has even
yeah.
started.
Now
I
here's
don't
the
know why they're doing this. I
for
kind
the
of think,
for the viewers at home, we follow, or at least I follow, a Toku site called J Fusion.
we all
Off
do.
off that, now I'm gonna
To be
mention
fair, I told you I'd already seen the Sick Ranger before you, and then
any
I told you to go look.
anywho,
And I
j
saw your reaction over camera, over web.
just to elaborate, and I'm gonna use this as a partial spoiler as to what
No, try not to spoil it, but go on. Then again, I think we do need to get it in check that we're not doing too many spoilers, because I wasn't even going to say who Necron was, and then you did, but whatever, go on.
but that depends if you want me to actually name it or not.
No, alright, because again, I know what you're trying to name, but again, let's try not to spoil it for those who might not have seen it. No.
Alright.
Shall we end this episode now?
Yeah, alright then.
Yay.
So if that's that, then I'm assuming Flayvaman doesn't have anything else he wants to let off steam with.
Oh.
Okay. So as always, do like, comment, subscribe just down below. The thing below as usual. What are you doing?
Nothing, carry on.
Anyway. So, I've been Master Rider Bushido, he's been my Toku Bros on the other side there, if that blink Flayvaman! And as always, we'll catch you next time, and as always, it is always physical!
This is the cam, see you next time.